Hi, I'm Tracy Dimmick and welcome to my blog, Intuitively Aligned. Today we're going to talk about cleansing. Specifically cleansing of energy, not the face. I don't know anything about cleansing faces. So when it comes to cleansing energy, why is it important? Well, if you can think about this for a second, imagine a bucket and we're putting it under a drip from the roof. The ceiling's leaking. Let's think about that bucket as you, as your energy. The energy that you have available, it's your essence, it's your spirit, it's your vitality, it's all the energy that you have to spend in the day, your focus. That bucket starts off empty and able to take on the world. It can take on, maybe a whole day worth of leaks from the roof. So slowly but slowly, the water drips from the roof, the ceiling, into the bucket. Now, what are you going to have to eventually do if you can't get the ceiling repaired? You're going to have to empty the bucket, put the bucket back under there, because if you don't empty the bucket, eventually, drip after drip after drip after drip after drip, the bucket's going to overflow. What happens when it overflows? A few things. It makes a mess, which was the whole point of putting the bucket there in the first place. It becomes heavy to lift. It almost becomes a nightmare, a problem to have to fix, a greater problem than just the leak in the roof. Now, cleansing your energy is very similar. If you are the bucket and slowly, day by day, night by night, energy is being dripped into you. Energy is being dripped into you, whether it is work, people, family, friends, kids, partners, whatever, animals, world situations, pandemics. Eventually your bucket gets full and you're going to have to empty your bucket, clean your bucket, get a new bucket, who knows? But ultimately you can't keep the bucket sitting there without doing anything about it. So think about taking yourself out into the world and collecting energies from all of those sources we just mentioned. And then think about taking the energy from the previous day over to the next day and the next day. How long have you been doing that for already? How long have you been holding on to the energy of your friends, your parents, your children, the mess in the house, the colleagues at work, the Karens in the world, the global shit show that is currently happening? How long have you been holding on to it? And what does that look like for you? Does it equal headaches, fatigue, irritability, maybe even anger, sadness, teary? Maybe it's resulted in overwhelm and anxiety. Maybe it's resulted in aches and pains and, bloating, just random symptoms. Well, a lot of the time, this is something that you can fix quite simply if you learn to cleanse your energy. Now, how do you cleanse your energy? Well, you have to think about using the 4 elements that are available. So there's earth, air, fire, and water. Now, you can use nearly all 4 of them to cleanse yourself. But for this little video, we're going to focus on water because nearly every single one of you at some point will have a bath or a shower. So next time you're in the shower, all you have to do is say out loud. Now, there is a reason you need to say it out loud, and that is because it is the action in the piece of the puzzle that results in the actual energy being cleansed. So the intention is that you want to cleanse your energy of what's not yours, but you also want to cleanse your energy of what doesn't serve you anymore, what is yours, but it doesn't serve you anymore. So limiting beliefs might not serve you, or being angry today about what someone else has done that is out of your control, it might not serve you. So we want to wash away what's not ours. So I want you to say out loud, wash away what's not mine. And while you're doing that, I want you to visualize, this is the second component of making sure that this cleansing works. I want you to visualize the water actually washing the grime off you. And that grime is going to be the drip, 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 drip. So it's like emptying the bucket. and you can visualize it going down the drain. Now you can visualize this with your eyes closed, or you can visualize it with your eyes open and just watch the water trickle down your body and down into the drain. After you've said, wash away what's not mine, we say, wash away what no longer serves me. Then I want you to take a deep breath, because that is your cleansing. That is all that is needed. Now, you don't have to know what it is that you're cleansing. You don't have to know whose is what and where it belongs to. You don't have to give it back. You don't have to do anything. You simply have to have the intention to empty the bucket. That's all it is. Now, what about cleansing your environment? So sometimes environments are toxic. Have you ever walked into a place where you just get a really bad vibe? Or every time you go there, you just feel weird and you can't really put your finger on it. It's not necessarily the people that are there, but you kind of think maybe it's actually the space. Maybe it's the building or the room. Well, if this has happened and it's actually a building or a room that you could cleanse, i.e. you can't just go into your doctor's office or I don't know, your accountant's office and just start cleansing their office. But if this is your home, or maybe your family's homes, or maybe even just your office space, your own individual personal one, or maybe your partner's or another person's home, a friend's home, one of the things that you can do is sage. And so we're using the elements of fire and air at this point. So lighting a sage smudge stick, and then using the element of air, so fire element with the flame, and then we're using the element of air to have the smoke be wafted out through the space. So very quickly, what you want to do is start off in the north, and you want to move in a clockwise direction. So you want to go the north to the east, to the south, to the west of the home. So each room is done individually, starting at the front door or the door in the room, which is the north point. And then you want to move around. So you want to go to all the corners. And what you simply want to say out loud while you're fanning the sage smudge stick smoke, what you want to say out loud is, please cleanse this space of any energy that is not for the highest good. Now, you can be quite specific here. So when I do my children's bedrooms, I will say, please cleanse this energy of anything that is not for the highest good for Harley, my eldest, for Luca, my middle, for Alaska, my youngest. So that's how you can cleanse your environment. Now, that's just one way. What are the top 3 tools for cleansing? Well, like I mentioned, using the elements earth, air, fire, and water, we think about water, shower, great tool. Sage, air and fire, great tool. Another tool that is an earthly element, which sage is too, but another earthly element is crystals. So crystals are great at cleansing spaces. My favorite is actually sitting right here, and it is selenite. And what selenite does, this is very readily available and pretty cheap in comparison to most crystals. But what selenite does is it harmonizes space. It harmonizes the energy. So that's pretty good cleansing for me. The other things that cleanse, the moon. The moon is an excellent cleanser. So set your intentions to cleanse yourself of things that don't serve you anymore. Last but not least, when do I cleanse? Well, I cleanse every day. I kind of have to though, because of the energies that I come into contact with, and I am super sensitive to all energies. So I cleanse morning and night every single day. I do bigger cleanse at certain times. So on a full moon, I do quite a big cleanse. I will sage my entire self, sage my home. At the beginning of a new season, I will sage the home and my office and those things, and at the beginning of a new year. I also do quite a big cleanse every time I celebrate another trip around the sun on my birthday. The last thing I guess that I want to just quickly mention is earthing. So earthing is another element of using ground to cleanse. Now, earthing is not grounding, and grounding is not earthing. Earthing is literally cleansing the free radicals outside of your, like to pull them, cleansing your body of free radicals. The way we earth is spend 20 minutes skin to conductive surface, After 20 minutes, that conductive surface will begin to extract these free radicals from you. Why is that important? Because free radicals can hook up to the positive things in your body, but they can also hook up to the negative things in your body, which in turn lead to dis-ease. So I hope you've enjoyed this little mini masterclass on cleansing.